Greetings YouTube, my name is Inquisitor Ozzy Novolip, and welcome to my channel. Today is Monday, June 1st, never mind the date on that screen, 2020, 12:35 or 12:36 a.m. My last completed Let's Play was Resistance 2 for, of course, the PlayStation 3. This video, I want to try to be short or quick if I can. This is sort of a response video to two reviews I don't like on YouTube. Well, I like the reviews, I just don't like the opinions in the reviews. I guess it's how I want to say it. I don't mind their opinion. I do mind their opinion, but whatever. And the only reason I'm making this review, or not review, this video, is because my channel. Well, first of all, I'm a huge enjoyer of shooters, first and third person, from the fifth, sixth, and seventh gen consoles. And yeah, since I Let's Play mainly shooters, especially the 6th and 7th gen, I figured, I'd speak on this. And also because I've had really good experience with the Resistance games. I've Let's Play Part 1, I've Let's Play Part 2, I'm about to Let's Play Part 3 after this video. And yeah, Jarek the Gaming Dragon, someone I'm subscribed to on YouTube, and G-Man Lives, although on this channel it says GGG Man Lives. I've been subscribed to those two channels for quite some time, especially G-Man Lives, and I like the reviews. And I can't say I like all their I agree with all their opinions, but I like the games they review. Especially G-Man Lives. He reviews a lot of good stuff, like shooters that that I love. like Project Snowblind and Wolfenstein and all kinds of stuff. But like I said, I recently Let's Played Resistance 1 and Resistance 2, and Resistance 1 is probably the best shooter I've ever played in my life. Easily top 5. It's up there in terms of just best sci-fi shooter, which I guess is its own little category, and best first-person shooter that I played in a while. Yeah, probably just one of the best shooters I've ever played. And the Resistance games, they have a reputation of being, I guess they kind of get a bad rap by some people. They say they're, I don't want to say that people are saying that they're unnecessarily hard or anything like that, but there are a few people that will say the games are too hard. And usually when they say that, it's like a negative score. It's like, I don't like the game, or the game isn't good because it's hard, or the game isn't good because it's too hard or unnecessarily hard. And there are a lot of cheap deaths. And excuse me. Well, those are the opinions that that Jarek the Gaming Dragon and G-Man Lives has. And I think if the game wasn't so whatever you want to call it, hard or challenging or whatever, I think they would have gave it a better review because they don't really give reviews. They don't really grade their reviews. Those two reviewers. You sort of just have to tell how the game is by what they're saying and how they're talking about the game. And like I said, both of those channels, they review mostly shooters. All I've ever seen on their channels are shooters. I'm sure they probably play all kinds of stuff, and maybe they have a few reviews floating around of games that aren't shooters. But every review I've ever seen of them are shooters. So I don't know, like, for somebody that plays that many shooters, I mean, that's just what they review. Who knows how many they actually play or they've actually played? How can you play that many shooters and find this game hard? Because I'm 38 and I've played a lot of shooters. Not all of them. I'm not an expert or nothing like that. In all Resistance, the first game, all this game really asks you to do, it doesn't ask you to do nothing you haven't done in any other shooter. It doesn't ask you to do. I'd say it's almost like an old, like the way you have to like move and stuff. Sometimes it's almost like an old N64 or PS1 game. You have to do a lot of strafing, almost like a Serious Sam. Sometimes you have to do a lot of like circle strafing. You have to do a lot of like twitch shooter. I've heard that term be used a few times. So I guess this game falls under that category. But you just have to do a lot of moving sometimes, like a lot of like awkward moving, just to avoid some enemies. And sometimes there's attacks coming at you from all directions. But so Jarek the Gaming Dragon and G-Man Lives. I guess one of the points they were trying to make is that the game is too hard or too cheap or something like that. And I don't agree with that. In my opinion, this game is really fair. Part one, and you can restore your health. They give you guns that let you. There's a gun that actually lets you shoot through walls. So that's pretty convenient. And the game is level based. Like you play for like 15-20 minutes, the screen turns white, there's a cutscene or whatever, then the next level starts. That's how each level is. There's also sometimes a checkpoint or two in each level. At least one in each level. So I don't know. I beat the game in like 2 sittings on the normal difficulty. And if you ask, any of those reviewers that I just mentioned, the normal difficulty is way too hard. I'm like, what? Like, what? Are we playing the same game here? Because I beat part 1 and part 2 in like 2 days, like a day and a half. I beat part 2 in 2 sittings. I beat part 1 in 2 sittings. And I don't know. As a shooter, this game is very, very, very sound. Another complaint they had was that enemies take too long or take too many shots to bring down. My response to that is bullcrap. If you're shooting at an enemy this far away and you're not using a sniper rifle, then yeah, they may take a few shots. But if you're shooting at someone that's like mid range from you, like 15 or 20 feet, it usually takes a few shots. And I hear that from a lot of people, and I'm like, what? Like, they take more than. What do you mean? I didn't experience that, and yeah, I just don't understand it right there. And I know I'm late. I'm late to the parade, because these games are these games are old. These resistance games, they're old. But I don't care. I still want to get up here and talk about them because with my PS3, I don't really play my PS3 a lot. I have a lot of games for it, but I don't play it a lot. I usually play my 360 a lot. Plus, I'm a collector, so I can't play all the systems and all the games that I have at once. But yeah, I didn't experience that. Like, as far as like the damage enemies take, unless you're facing one of like the more hulking or huge type of enemies, that's something else. But most grunts or your average enemy takes a few shots to bring down. If you're using the carbine and you're like mid to close range, a few shots, maybe not a few shots, but they don't take. They're not going to be using up all your ammo. You're not going to be using up all your ammo on one enemy, and especially with the shotgun. Once you get the shotgun, which is pretty early in the game, you're going to be taking out enemies pretty quickly. Usually like 1 to 2 shots. So I don't understand. I don't. Understand that right there. And like I said, I don't really have a problem with the reviews. I just wish they would get the facts straight. They base the game off of their experience rather than just a general experience. And I know they're trying to be general or whatever, but when you're a reviewer and you make like 11 or so over 10 good reviews and you sound like you know what you're talking about, then I think sometimes either you or your viewers or both look at your opinion as the general opinion when your opinion of the game that you're about to review is actually your own personal opinion. So a lot of stuff that they're saying is like, oh, the game is too hard, it's just this, that, this, that. And I'm like, I don't know. The only reason I'm making this video is because I really like these games. Like I really like the resistance games. uh so yeah, I think that's crap. My other thing is, once you play the game and you know how the game is like I said, it's very level based, focused. Like, you start a level, 15, 20 minutes, you're done. Maybe a little less, you're done. you know, and so as far as like playing the game, it's very, the level structure is it's very simple. You don't get lost or anything like that. Sometimes you may get a little lost, but not really. But since it's like levels, you beat one area, you automatically start a new area. Even the final level is good. The final level is pretty good. Now the final portion of the final level, where you have to destroy these cores or whatever they're called, that can be pretty hectic. But even still, there's 4 of them. Once you destroy the 4th one, screen turns white automatically, cutscene, you're done. And I never write my ideas down. I should do that because I had a bunch of stuff I want to say about part 1, but I forgot a lot of it. before I get to part two, I want to talk about some other stuff. Like, I never expected the developers of Ratchet and Clank to make this type of game. I mean, if I were to guess, I would say, yeah, if they tried to make something that isn't Ratchet and Clank, it'd probably be okay, because all the Ratchet and Clank games that I've played are pretty solid. Those games, they look kiddie, but those games, they're kind of challenging. They're pretty tough. Maybe not tough, but well, tough in some areas. But in other areas, I just think they put up a pretty decent, respectable challenge. And before the first game I ever played that wasn't a Ratchet and Clank game, because I've had these Resistance games for a long time. Maybe not when they first came up, but I had them for a long time. And the first game I played by Insomnia that wasn't Ratchet and Clank was Fuse. And again, that game blew me out of the water. It isn't the best game, but if I had to pick like a top 10 or top 5 squad-based third-person shooter for the 7th gen, I'd pick that one. It probably wouldn't be number one, but it's up there. I mean, the fact that you can switch to any of your squad mates at any time, and the fact that like everyone has skill trees, and you can level up the skill trees, and just the combat, like like how your allies revive you, or stuff like that, and just the action is great. So that game really surprised me. That was the first game I ever played that wasn't Ratchet and Clank, made by Insomnia, and that game blew me out of the water. It really did, but not like Resistance. This game is great. If you ever want to try it, I know it's old, and like I said, I'm late. This game is old. Everybody's probably played it. Don't go off of Jarek the Gaming Dragon or G-Man Lives reviews. Like, don't take their word for it. Not this time. And it's funny because IGN, GameSpot, the big wigs, they gave it a pretty good score. Of course, a lot of them are probably paid, but they gave it a pretty good score. It's a lot of the average Joe type reviewers, like the guys I'm talking about. Just dudes recording and with their equipment and just making reviews. They're the ones that don't seem to like it too much, or at least those two. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the reviews. The reviews are fine. It's just some of their opinions are just way off, way off. Like I said, I'm not the best first person shooter player, but like I mean, especially like during this day and age, the the multiplayer age, where I think when you play online, like those Call of Duties and those Medal of Honor, those are some good players. I think any one of those type of, if you're into any kind of shooter, especially like the multiplayer type of stuff, the Twitch stuff, you have no problem with this game right here. I don't think. You may find it a little annoying in certain areas, but I think the average person that plays shooters, that plays enough of them, they don't have a problem with this game right here. But what else is there? Another thing, I almost never played a shooter where I enjoyed every single gunfight. Every single gunfight I loved. Now, some of the gunfights where I'm fighting huge, because there's some mechs in the game, or some sort of robot things. They're creatures inside of mechs or little robot things, and those are a little annoying because you have to wait until they turn their back or whatever, and then shoot them. But aside from that, the game has 30 levels. I say out of those 30 levels, at least 26 or 27 I loved. Absolutely loved. Almost every single gunfight on those levels. And yeah, that's saying something. I'm not going to talk about part 3 in this video because Jarrett the Gaming Dragon and G-Man Lives, they sort of, I don't know if they like part 3 or not, but that's the one they spoke fondly of, or I guess that's probably the one they'd prefer if they had to play a Resistance game. They both seem to favor part 3 over parts 2 and 1. So that's that. On to part 2. Of course, both reviewers, they gave it, I don't want to say a negative score, but they didn't speak too kindly of it. Let's just say they disliked it. G-Man Lives. He said he died, I think, 100 times. I don't think he said 100 times. I think he said he died over 100 times during the single player campaign. And my response to that is, what the heck would you play? Like, really? Over 100 times? I died quite a bit as well in the single player portion. But it was under 50. It may have been like 20 or 25 times. I didn't die over 100 times. And I don't want to say that I'm better than G-Man Lives. Like, who knows? When you review games, I don't know what difficulty he plays them on. But you died over 100 times? Really? Really? Are we playing the same game here? And I was kind of nervous going into Let's Playing because I was listening to the reviews, because I'm the kind of person, I watch a lot. I love watching reviews of stuff, especially video games. I'm a review watching somebody, but I don't watch the reviews. I don't watch reviews to decide whether or not I want to buy a game. maybe like 5% of the time or whatever, I'll watch. But I learned a lot of stuff watching reviews. Like, you can learn how long a game is, because sometimes they'll say how long a game is. You'll learn certain stuff about the game, and that's what I like. I like just learning as much as I can, or researching as much as possible about a game that I'm about to buy. But usually, if I see some gameplay and I like it and it's on the system that I have, I'm gonna buy it. So when I heard them say, "Oh, the game is part 2 is hard," and it's like you die like out of nowhere, or like you die at random, that didn't make me not want to play it. That just made me like, well, I had to play it because I'm Let's Playing it. I'm Let's Playing all 3 of them. But I was kind of nervous. I was like, man, they said this game is hard. Like, they said it's like whatever, so I gotta be careful. But then I'm thinking, like, well, they also said that about part 1, and I beat part 1 in 2 sittings. I would have beat it. I would have beat part 1 in 1 sitting, but I had to stop for sleep and to eat. And yes, I was kind of nervous, really nervous about part 2, because you can only carry 2 weapons and stuff like that. And one of, I guess, a complaint from both reviewers was that, like, oh, you can't carry your whole an arsenal of weapons like you could in part 1. Hang on a second. That's driving me crazy. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, they were saying that how it kind of sucks that you couldn't carry, your whole arsenal of weapons like you could in part 1. But at the same time, There's weapons everywhere. Like even though you can't carry a whole arsenal, like there's weapons all over the place. You know, there are plenty of weapons to pick up. I mean, I sometimes found myself out of ammo, for a weapon that I liked, but I could just pick up another one. Maybe not the same weapon, but I don't know. I I went into part two expecting to have a hard time and fearful. Once I started playing part two, within like 15 minutes, I was like, "This game is awesome!" Like my first session when I was recording it, I played more than half the game. I was just into it. I was so into it. I couldn't put it down. I'm not gonna say it was better than part one, which it wasn't. But I'm also not gonna say that I didn't enjoy the heck out of it, because I did. Uh, so they tried to make that seem like both reviewers tried to make that seem like the fact that you could only carry two weapons a bad thing. It wasn't a bad thing at all. I liked it actually. I liked G-Man in particular. G-Man Lives in particular. He tried to make the whole fact that regenerating health, that you have regenerating health in part two, because in part one you had a health bar. You had to pick up health packs. Well, they tried to make regenerating health seem like it was a bad thing. Regenerating health is actually a good thing. It actually worked out pretty well in that game, because even though that game isn't as hard as part one, it can still get a little hectic. And when all hell's breaking loose, you don't want to be running around looking for health packs. So the regenerating health kind of the whole regenerating health thing, that worked out pretty well. Uh, Both G-Man Live, yeah, this part. They both said that like you die out of nowhere. There's a lot of cheap deaths. I never came across a cheap death. Secondly, I don't really see how that's. I don't really see the. I don't really see how that's a valid complaint or a valid, con of the game, because it's general. It's pretty basic knowledge that the game has weapons we can shoot through walls. So if you die, and you don't know where it came from, is that a cheap death? Is that a quote unquote out of nowhere, like death? The game has guns that allow you to shoot through walls and also allows the enemy to shoot through walls. How is that valid? How is that cheap when you already know? I gotta be careful. This game has guns that can shoot through walls. How's that? How can you even say there's cheap, the game has cheap deaths when you already know there are weapons in the game that can shoot through walls? How's that? Whatever. So yeah, in my opinion, the game doesn't have cheap deaths. If you die for whatever reason, it isn't out of nowhere. It's probably because some creature has a gun that can shoot through walls. But even then, you can pick up the gun and you can shoot through walls. And even more on top of that, the guns that allow you to shoot through walls, they don't kill you with one hit. You have to get shot at least 2 or 3 times. Once you get hit the first time or the second time, you should be looking for cover. Like I said, this game is very. The way you move in this game, it almost reminds me of Serious Sam. Just like the way you have to like move, because it's going to be times when enemies are just rushing at you and just, you're not gonna have time to really breathe, or really, and you gotta be moving, you gotta be strafing, you gotta be moving backwards, moving forward, sideways, a whole bunch of stuff, and so I don't know how that's. I don't see how that's valid. I really don't see how that's a valid point right there, because you don't die out of nowhere. And G-Man lives like, I died over 100 times playing this game. I'm sure that was probably an exaggeration. Maybe he died a lot, but no. Even if you died over 100 times, you suck. I mean, how can you have that many reviews, on your channel of, so many shooters, but yet you find this one to be hard? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Another complaint that they both had about the game was that there are these enemies that can turn invisible, and they can kill you with one hit. No matter which difficulty it's on, you die with one hit if you get hit by them. Again, my response is, when once you realize the game has that type of enemy, and you find out pretty early on, how's it valid to complain about something that is all? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But usually, those creatures that turn invisible, before they even charge you, or before you even notice them, you hear a giant. You hear like a giant monster noise or whatever. That should be a cue right there. Get ready to shoot something. Then you see this hulking silhouette rushing at you. Kill it. I mean, I don't know how that's a valid complaint. You know that there's enemies in the game, so how can you complain about that stuff? I don't know how to word it. How can you complain about something like that? I don't get it, because I'm going to be honest. I can barely count on two hands the amount of times I may have died 5 times from those type of enemies. You know, you know. That, and again, I'm not the best, but at shooters, but they telegraph their presence. They say, and then you hear like thudding. If you just look around, usually in front of you, because they usually attack from the front. They hardly ever attack you from behind. Because they attack you as soon as they see you. So they're not gonna wait till you get in front of them to attack you. As soon as they see you, they're usually ahead of you, and they're gonna start making noise. And as long as you're looking forward and side to side, you're gonna see them. And if you have the shotgun, one shot, 2 shots, they're dead. Usually one shot on normal. My only guess is that maybe, I could be wrong, but maybe G-Man Lives and Jerry the Game Dragon, maybe they like playing games with the music on. Because if the music's on, because my playthroughs were made with the music off. That's how I like to play games, or especially my shooters. And so I heard them coming. So maybe they were playing with the music on, and they didn't hear that little whatever. Because I don't know how the game is with the music on. So I don't know if there's music playing when you encounter those enemies, or if the music quiets a bit. When you encounter those type of enemies. I don't know. Maybe you're playing with the music on, and maybe you couldn't hear everything that was going on clearly, or something. Or maybe you just suck. And again, I'm not the best. I'll play the game on normal. Although they say, well, normal and resistance, that's like medium in most other games. BS. BS. I've received so many comments on my channel about how I suck at shooters, and for some of the dumb stuff that I've did in shooters. I mean, you can look at my stuff and tell I'm not the best. Not by a long shot. And I beat it. If I could beat it, your dog could beat the game. If I could do it. But the game has good multiplayer. Screw the multiplayer. Your mother has good multiplayer as well. I should write that down. But um, yeah. So that's not a valid complaint. I don't think. Even though the reviews are already made, their opinions are already set, and probably whoever's watching their reviews on those particular games, if they haven't played the game and they just like the reviewer, they're going to take their word for it. Yeah, you're right. It's hard. It sucks. Thanks for letting me know. I'll make sure to never buy that game. Also, I think they both had complaints about how the game was so much harder than the first game, or so much more annoying than the first game. My response to that is BS. Bull freaking crap. Bull crap. Bull crap. For one, I think that's a lie. It's their opinion, but I want to say it. Your opinions are wrong. Your opinions suck. On that topic, Jarek the Gaming Dragon and G-Man Lives. The reason is, and I kid you not, in part 2, I've never played a game. This is no exaggeration. When it comes to when it comes to shooters, out of all the games I've let's played so far, I've never played a game that auto saves so much. Resistance 2, you can almost cue in the autosave. You can almost, after a huge battle, you can almost say, okay, right here, autosave. And there's so many autosaves and checkpoints in that game, it's not even funny. Almost after every gunfight. almost after every single gunfight, there's a checkpoint, there's an autosave. So again, like, how is that? How can you say this game's harder than the first game when in the first game you only got it at the most one, maybe two checkpoints a level? Where in Resistance 2, after every major or every medium-sized gunfight, you get autosave, just like that. I mean, for the final level alone, when you're fighting, it's either part 2 or part 1. When you're fighting the final boss, there's cutscenes during the boss battle. Most games, they don't do. Most games, you have to, battle it out with the boss, and if you die, you start back from a checkpoint, or you start, back from wherever. This game has checkpoints during the boss battle. You clear this portion of the battle, checkpoint. You clear the next portion of the battle, checkpoint. Once you defeat the boss, autosave, checkpoint. Then you have to exit the facility before it blows up. And there's at least 2 checkpoints for that. While you're fleeing the area you're in that's exploding or falling apart. Once you get halfway, checkpoint. Then you make it the other half of the way to complete the game. I'm like, I don't get it. How can you die over 100 times or whatever in a game that has that many checkpoints? How's that possible? How's that freaking possible? I think I'm done. I've talked myself into a thirst. Hang on a second. Alright. Feeling a little less parched. So yeah, just be mindful of their reviews of this game. even though nobody will probably play it, or whoever wants to play it or whoever has an interest in playing it has probably already played it. This game is a great series. It's a great series. It really is. I'm about to start my Let's Play of Part 3 in a few minutes. I'll probably just play for like an hour or so and then continue later on because it is 1 a.m. So yeah, I just had to make this video because as a Let's Player, a lot of times when I'm Let's Playing certain games, some games I feel like I have to like by me being a shooter person who loves shooters and having a channel that's geared mostly towards shooters, I feel like I have to sort of pay my dues. I have to play I have to have certain games on my channel, even if I don't want to play the game, or even if I don't want to have them on there. I have to. I can't do shooters. I can't be a Let's Player of shooters and not have some SOCOM or some Call of Duty games or some Gears of War. I have to have them in there. I have to show, you know, the big name stuff as well as like some of the lesser known stuff. But every now and then, I'll play a game, and it'll motivate me so much to where like I won't mind playing the other stuff that I kind of don't want to play, but I want to have it on my channel. Like it happened before, like not too long ago with Medal of Honor Frontline. The Medal of Honor games gave me a really tough time. Part 1, not Part 1, the first game for the PS2, Medal of Honor Frontline. I love that game so much. That's another game. It's probably one of the best shooters I've ever played as well. It's in my top 5 in terms of like war themed shooters, and in terms of like as a shooter by itself, just as a first person shooter, it's easily in my top 10 or top 5. Playing that game and beating it, like, it motivated me so much that like I didn't mind playing the other ones because Rising Sun wasn't too bad. Although the final level of Rising Sun was a BITCH. It was crazy. It was still fun though. Excuse me. It was a fun game, but it was tough. Well, that level was tough. European Assault and Vanguard really tried my nerves. They really got on my nerves. But it's like I was like, I have to do it. You know, like Frontline. Like I was so motivated from beating Frontline. I was like, you know what? I have to. I have to have all 4 on PS2. I have to Let's Play them. I just have to. There's no getting around it. And it really inspired me to really just, you know, just go and just clear out the other 3. And yeah. And with Resistance games, when I first started to Let's Play for PS3, which was a few days ago, I only have like 9 to 10 games I'm gonna Let's Play on here, and then I'm done for good with the PS3. At least when it comes to Let's Playing. I tried Killzone 2, and I was like, I don't like this game. I really don't. Maybe Part 3 is better. Who knows? Who freaking knows? I didn't like it because I thought I was gonna like it because I just Let's Play Part 1, and I was really expecting to like Part 2. I'm not gonna say I dislike Part 2. I did dislike Part 2, but it isn't a bad game. It just wasn't what I was expecting. So I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Well, the first game I tried was Haze, and after a while I was like, you know what, I can't do this. I can't do this. But then I tried Killzone 2, and I was like, I don't like this either. And I'm thinking, man, like I've already gave up on Haze, and I'm giving up on Killzone. and Killzone's 2 games. That's almost like a quarter of of my PS3 list right there. I'm like, man, like, I felt like discouraged because I wanted to let's play all those games, and I was like, I don't think I can do it. I'm just gonna give up. So I was like, you know what? Let me just play Resistance real quick, and just get it over with. Because I was thinking, you know what? Let me just have Resistance and the Uncharted games on my channel, and screw Haze and Killzone. But playing Resistance Part 1, I had such a great experience last playing that game that it kind of motivated me to say, you know what, I'm gonna tough it out. I'm gonna go ahead and just slog through Haze and Killzone and get them over, because I know I can beat Killzone. Like it just wasn't what I was expecting, but I was so inspired and motivated from beating Part 1 of Resistance and Part 2 that I'm like, you know what, off the strength of those games, I would deal with the rest of this crap. I would deal with it. And Killzone, it isn't crap, but like I said, it isn't exactly what I expected. I mean, I'm hoping for good things out of the Uncharted games. I hope they're not that bad. So, yeah, when you see all these PS3 games on my channel, just know they're only here. They're only there because of Resistance 1. If it wasn't Resistance, yeah, my enjoyment and my completion of that Let's Play, that saved the rest of them. Although I would have Let's Played Uncharted, or at least attempted to, no matter what. And that's about it. Although when I first played Resistance, the first one, I didn't like it, and that was because I was just testing it out to see if it worked, because I just bought it from Amazon or GameStop somewhere, and I was just testing it out to see how it worked. And I played it. I died a few times. I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't really understand it. I wasn't even really trying to. I was just playing it just to shoot stuff, and I was like, it's not gonna work. It wasn't until later on when I introduced my friend to Resistance. He didn't like it, and I was like, well, you just gotta crouch and just take cover and just shoot, take cover, shoot, take cover. Because even though I didn't like it, I still knew how to play it a little bit. And by me trying to teach him how to play it, I started to get into it. And I was like, well, this game's pretty good. Like, I played it for like another 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, well, I can't believe I didn't like this game right here the first time I played it. And that really sort of made my mouth water and wet my chops, because I was like, yeah, I couldn't wait till like Let's Play. I was like, man, like this is. I was thinking like, well, I am Let's Playing shooters now for my channel, only shooters, and I'm like, I started thinking about all the PS3 games I had, like all the shooters I had. And I was like, yeah, well, I want to make a list. I want to get all the Killzones, all the Uncharted's, and just play them. I still don't know if I should do Ratchet and Clank. I probably won't. But that's about it. I've been ranting long enough. So here's my plans. I guess I'll make this an update video as well, even though this was originally a response to, some reviews that I disliked. Not disliked, but some reviews that I didn't agree with portions of. Here's the schedule, or the list. Resistance 3, I'll play that a little bit. Haze, Killzone 2, Killzone 3, and Uncharted 1 through 3, or the Uncharted trilogy. I may do Heavy Fire there's a game called Heavy Fire Afghanistan, and there's another one called Heavy Fire Shattered Spear. I may end up doing those. I may end up let's playing those games as well, just to get them out of the way. I wanted to let's play, or at least making it, probably make an attempt to let's play Overkill, but I'm not really liking the price of that game. It's not too expensive. It's just it is a little more than what I'm willing to spend. But that's only because I have other stuff I need to buy as well. So I'm thinking I may do both Heavy Fire games. I still don't know if I want to do Starhawk yet. I probably won't, but I'll have to see. So it's Resistance 3, Haze, Killzone 2, Killzone 3, the Uncharted trilogy, maybe Heavy Fire Afghanistan, and Heavy Fire Shattered Sphere, and maybe Starhawk. And that's about it. And then I'll be back to my 360 and PS2 games, and I'll finish up the Medal of Honor games and some Call of Duty games. There's a lot of shooters. Shooters I want to let's play. Definitely over 100. But until next time, you guys, this is Chris on Mobile Lip signing out. Saying, be safe. Try to avoid this coronavirus if you can. I'm actually kind of tired. I might start the Resistance 3 Let's Play later on today. And that's about it. And I'll see you guys for the next video. One other thing. When you see this video, my Let's Plays for the PS3 will not be up. They're not going to be up for at least another month. I still need to complete these games. So, yeah.